mixed number, and we've been talking about representing improper fractions. So today we're going to talk about representing mixed numbers and improper fractions. And we're going to practice doing that at each of our different centers, which we're going to move into today. But first I want to just go back through the workbook pages you did yesterday so we can get a handle on where we are and bring Dylan up to date. Dylan, you feeling better? Or did you just take the day off?
No, my mom had to set up a party-like thing for the whole golf tournament, and she couldn't take me to school. She was way too busy, plus she needed my help a lot.
Wow, so you were a big helper. Okay, took it off. All right. 144, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're starting out with our favorite, starting out with a number line. What is our process when we get a problem with a number line? What's our process? First thing you do when you see a number line, what do you do?
Find the range.
The range, and this one ranges Auburn from what to what?
0 to 3.
0 to 3. What's the next thing we do? We found the range. What do we do next, Henry? Parts. What are the parts? What parts do we have on this number line? Sevens. What's a way to tell that?
The denominator on most of them are 7.
The denominator is 7 on most of them. What's another way to tell? How do I know my part is divided into sevens? Hey,
You can just count how many parts there are.
let's do it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 sevens. And you know what I do? I also highlight so I'm real aware of where my whole numbers are. If I'm talking about fractions, I want to really see my whole numbers so I can see what's falling between them. Okay, so we need to fill in this box. Let's have number 5. Come on up. Mixed number. Oh, you need that, don't you? I've got most of them already figured out. Here's one. Good. Read it.
1, 4, 7.
1 and 4 sevens. You sure? Yes. Okay. All right, I want to ask you, let's see. Okay, 1 and 4 sevens. What kind of number is that? Mixed number. Why do we call it a mixed number?
Because it has a whole number and a fraction.
Okay, and when she said that number, say it again, Lauren.
1 and 4 7.
Why did she say and?
Because if you don't, it will be one number.
Is it one number together though? What's the and for? To separate them. To separate who?
The fraction and the whole.
Good. Separates the fraction from the whole. Very good, Evie. Okay, here, now I'm going to ask you a question. I want you, think in your mind, I want you to name that mixed number as an improper fraction. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What do you think, Preston?
10 sevens.
10 sevens. How'd you get that?
Well, 4 sevens plus 6 sevens and 7 sevens, but equals 11 sevens.
11 sevens. Would you go with that one?
Yes.
Okay, good. 11 sevens. I'm going to put that up here because when you're going to be making your own number lines today, and you are going to be placing an improper fraction and a mixed number on your number line. Okay, next one. Number 14. Come on up. And I've got my number line off. Hang on. Okay. Line up my whole. It's okay. Just 2 and 6, 7. let's name it though. 1, 2, 3.
Eyes on the T.
I meant 1, 2, 3, name it.
2, 6, 7.
Again.
2 and 6, 7.
Okay, now I need the improper one. Improper. Have you guys compared? Oh, you got the same thing? You got the same one? Olivia? What'd you get?
2 and 12, 14.
Okay. She told me 2 and 12, 14. Is that correct?
No.
Kind of?
No.
Is a part of it correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, who says no? Why is that not correct?
Because there's a whole and
Because there's a whole number in it.
because it's proper. Because the denominator is bigger than the numerator.
Okay? The denominator is larger than the numerator. There's a whole number in it. What do you think happened here? Who knows what happened? What's the mistake, Lauren?
She was making a different one that equals 2 and 6, 7.
Instead of, what were the directions?
To find an improper fraction.
Improper fraction. Do you see how this is not improper? Do you see also it has a whole, do we have a whole number in an improper fraction?
No.
No, we don't. We do in a mixed number though. What do we call this and this though? Together, Samir.
Simplified fractions.
Equivalent. Equivalent fraction. This is a simplified fraction. What do we call this form?
The simplest.
Simplest form. We use simplest. Okay, but that brought up a lot of good, that little mistake brought up a lot of good discussion, so we appreciate that. Okay. All right, so what do we get for our improper fraction? Okay, Hammy.
27.
27. Like this?
Yes.
Yes, do you agree?
Yes.
How'd you get it? Who can explain?
You make the whole 2's into 7's, so that's 14 sevens plus 6 sevens equals 20.
Good. Okay, let's move on to the, go to the caterpillar. See it? The inchworm, whatever he is. It says it's the worm. Okay, well, all right, he's a worm. It crawled blank centimeters. 7.
7, 112.
7 what?
112.
I didn't hear the whole thing.
7, 112.
7, 1, 12. What's that mean? 7, 1, 12. Can you write it up here? Sorry, here. Okay. How do we say that, Mary?
7 and
7 and 112. Why, and why do we have the and?
because it separates the numerator from the whole from the fraction.
Good, okay. And that's nudge that you want to? David, what would you tell him to nudge him?
Well, that it's not 7, 1, 12. It's not 1, 12.
Okay. Who can nudge him? Can you help, Hayes?
You have to find the parts of the.
Find the parts. How many parts between each hole? You're up close, you can find it out. 12? You count 12? Show me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Children, count the spaces.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Okay, so what do you have to?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, so we're not talking, what are we talking about here? What part? Tenths. And how many tenths do you have right here? You said your hole was 7. Okay, you want to count? Once you mark where you need to stop. Once you mark where his nose is. Start at your hole. 7. Okay, go to your number line.
And 7.
7 what? You sure? Okay, then change it. Oh. Okay. Okay, very, very good. And he persevered, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay. One more point. What other mistake could someone make on this problem?
They could think that, but I did, but I thought that his, mouth was the end, and I accidentally did 7
7 1/2. So you went for a smiley face? Okay.
They could, not count the part where his body's going up and not
Okay. Maybe just add that and that. What I'm thinking of, look at the first sentence. Look at up where they give the directions. Then look at your number line. What do you think? Gracious.
It says that he started crawling from 0 centimeters, but the number line looks like inches.
All right.
There's not a 0 in the number line.
There's not a 0 in the number line. Why do you think there's no 0?
Because it might have, the ruler might have broke.
The ruler does look like it broke. What else?
Because they only show, they didn't need to show the rest of where he had crawled. They just showed where, a little bit after where he crawled and where he is.
Okay, good. They didn't need to show all this. He's already done it. Okay, and you know from here to here he's already done 5. But if they hadn't told us that, what I thought of was maybe you would think he started right here. I mean, worms don't know where 0 is. So he may just have started here and you might have measured just that. I just thought there were a lot of ways that if you weren't paying attention, you could make some mistakes. Okay, we're going to move on, and because I want to get you to your centers today. Dylan, get a friend. Just pass these out.
And
Just one's fine. Just need a fast one. All right. When you get your checkoff sheet, put your name and number on it so it can travel with you. Ready?
2.
Raise your hand if you still need one. Got one. Right On top. Bring back the Preston. Yellow group is doing problem of the lesson. There are two of them, 6.4 and 6.5. You will glue them in your notebook. Where's in the problem solving section? Where's problem solving? Third section. So you'll need to bring your notebook to this center. Glue them in. You can solve the problem, but remember you need to put an explanation for your answer. One of them is ordering fractions. Some of them are improper, some of them are not. The other is grouping them. Okay, both are very thoughtful exercises, so you really need to use some, what? Metacog. Okay. Red is hands-on, page 240. It's pretty simple. You get 4 examples. You need to show the, it's an improper fraction, and you're going to need to draw it. I think this is going to be a pretty short center, so I added a couple things. After you have finished with your partner taking turns drawing the improper fractions, you are going to write a word problem where one of those improper fractions is the solution. A creative word problem, and you're going to put that in problem solving in your notebook as well. You can work together on it. You can work together as a table on it if you want to. And I'll give you a hint. Our math blog this week is about writing an original problem, but it has to be on the theme of Easter. So you're going to use some mixed numbers and improper fractions for your math blog. It's on this morning, so you can start on it tonight. I just need it by Thursday evening. I need you to have responded to it. Okay? All right. After you have finished this, red group, you can play fraction war. However, we're changing the rules. Remember before, if you had a 6 and a 2, you had to put the smaller number as the what? Numerator, right. Okay, now, the first number, whichever your first card is the numerator. Second card's denominator. Uh-oh. What'd I get? 4/3. 4/3. You used to have to always have a what kind of fraction? Proper. But now you can have improper if you want. Okay, well, if you turn it improper. Okay? First card's numerator, second card's denominator. It's on your direction. So, once you finish this, you and your partner can play new kind of fraction war. Blue group. Blue group is making a virtual number line. If you look in the back of the room, 0 to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a number line. Our range is what? 0 to 4. And you are going to be finding the fractional parts. You have a deck of cards. Okay? You will draw a card. First, you have to make it using fraction circles. Okay, for your holes and parts. Or you can use fraction strips for holes and parts. Okay? You make it. Your partner tells you that's correct, whatever, and then you go and place it. Your other paired partners, the other pair of students, then do the next one from a pile. They will then draw from a pile. So you're going to work as 2 teams. The first team will draw and make the fraction, and then they'll go place it. Then the second team draws one, makes it, gets checked by you, and then goes and places it on our number line. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Green group. Green group is, let me see the directions. Green group is using the same kind of cards, but you're doing something different. You're going to draw a card, then you need to draw the fraction on here. If I draw 1 3/4, I need to draw either using circles, not triangles, I'm going to use squares or rectangles, however you want to draw that fraction. Okay, your partner checks it. Then if you have drawn, look at your list while I talk about it. See the first bullet? If you draw a proper fraction, then you have to name an equivalent fraction. So if I draw 3/4, I would need to draw it on here. Okay, I'm going to draw 3/4, and then I did 3/4, and then I'm going to need to name backwards, then name your mixed number. Got it? The directions are on here, and I'll be coming by to help you. Last center is Edu Creations. It's up here. Mixed numbers, what you do, let's say, Henry, you and I are partners. So I'm going to name this one 2 1/4. Okay? Then I need to go through a process. I need to name it. Then I need to name 2 1/4 as an improper fraction, which is going to be, I can use the board here, okay? Which would be 9/4. Then I need to draw a number line and show that 2 1/4 on a number line. And then Henry gets to practice with the next one. Once each of us have practiced one of the mixed numbers, then we can go to Edu Creations. I've got the iPads back there on the back shelf, and you can do your recording. But you have to practice one first. You can choose for your recording any one of these you want. All right? Okay. You're going to take your center sheet, your checkoff sheet with you. Oh, sorry. We are drawing new groups today because it's April. You don't want to stay with old groups?
No.
That's old groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new groups. Okay, we got pick one. As soon as you get a card, go to that color. Go. Go. You might need your notebook. You need your center to check off. Good. Good. Also, at each center, every time you change centers, we'll have 20 minutes at each. Every time you change, I want you to get a new partner in your group, okay? Don't work with the same buddy all the time. Each time you're going to change. And like that. I got blue. Who needs one? You weren't with me. 2 left. Push in. We don't have computer. We've got text. And that's the iPad. Need you way up so these guys have space. You get to go to it though. Yes, why don't you do this color first though? I'll get those later. Get started. Somebody's Grace's partner. Who's Grace's partner?
I am.
Okay, go be Grace. This one won't stick, so you'll need to stick it.
Wait, read the instructions. Name of the mixed number. What is that? Right. So now name it as improper fraction. No, on board. 9/4. Now draw a number line and plot the mixed number and mark it as a mixed number and an improper fraction. So do it 1. The range should be 1 to 3. Okay, so do that. So
But those would be has to be thirds. Six. I know.
conversations?
Yeah, speak up.
Y'all make sure to speak up when Mrs. Corley comes by so she can hear your conversation, okay? Especially you, Lauren. All right. So have a conversation for Mrs. Corley. Tell her what's up.
Teresa. Divide this into 4 and divide this one into 4. And then you say 5.
It doesn't matter. They don't have to be in order.
That equals 5. Because 5 of the 4 parts are shaped. Yeah? That's what's up. I'll go get a set of tissue. Give me that. Okay, now you're doing it. Okay? Where the right is 1 and no, you have to draw it.
That's 2 halves. No, that's not halves. Those are quarters now.
First one you choose is
That's 2 halves. Yeah. 4 halves. So, what is your mixed number going to be? What do you have there? 2. It isn't a mixed number, is it? It's a whole number. Go. Are you guys okay? So that one's not actually mixed, is it? Kind of tricky.
Now you guys have to do a mixed number.
But they tried. They did with the number 2, but it's not really mixed. It's just a whole number because there is no fraction to go with it. It's your turn. You're going to pick? Yeah, you don't have to pick from the top because there's show. Go ahead. Tell Miss Carly. 2 2/3. Okay, so draw it.
Oh, we're not taking this.
We're supposed to choose. No, we're supposed to choose. 3. We check it.
The bottom of your peace sign. Make the Mercedes sign. There you go. There you go. Those are kind of thirds. We'll go with it. Okay, good. 1, 2, 2/3. Okay, now, what would your improper fraction be?
2
Equals.
That's 6.
You count them for me.
Oh, God.
Count them for me from the picture.
Look what we have.
We got 2 or 3 thirds.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4,
What you got? And our denominator. Okay, make sure you're comparing your answers to each other, okay? And speak up, Miss Corley. Do one more. Look at these number lines. Yeah, we're not going to last a whole lot longer. We'll just be showing each center.
Okay.
Have you gotten these from? It's supposed to be their education.
Okay.
now, 2. No, you all have to check yours.
Ready for your, okay, ready for the iPad? All right, go for it. Over there.
It's in fourths.
But that's what it says up there.
Education, here we go.
Okay. Okay, do you want me to do it first or you?
Okay. Let's do it right here, girls. Oh, I see.
Am I taping it?
Yeah, we're taping. Yes, it's going to take, well, when you're ready, you don't you sit down?
I'm doing A, she's doing C.
Sit down.
So is she going to write it or?
You're not writing, you're doing it live.
So how do I do that?
All you do is record. No, when you record, you can start writing and talking. But you need to talk about, introduce it, tell what we're doing today, what our lesson is.
Can we take a picture before we start?
You can,
Like we did
but
last
I'd
time?
rather, yeah. Why don't we do a lesson first so we can get you on? Oh, that's okay. Let's go ahead and show us how it's going to work so Miss Corley can get a photo of it.
Ready?
Do it nice and loud.
1, 2, 3.
Nice and loud.
Today we are doing mixed numbers and improper fractions. And our problem will be 2 and 1/4 put into a mixed number on a number line and an improper fraction. This equals 2 and 1/4. The improper fraction is 9/4.
Tell how you know.
I know because each whole has 4 divisions, and 4 times 2 by the 2 holes is 8 plus 1/4 equals 9.
Number line.
We're going to do a number line. The range is from 0 to 4. They are divided into 4 parts each. 2 and 1/4 is located right there, and the improper fraction is also right there. And that was our lesson. Okay, title, mixed numbers, A. Mixed numbers. Okay, so the improper fraction is 23/5 for this one. Okay. Description. Do I have to draw stars or can I do it in circles? Wasn't I supposed to do C? You're supposed to do that? Yes. But still.
Tell Miss Corley what you're doing.
First we draw a card and
Tell nice and loud, tell her.
I got 2 and 4/5. First, you have to get these, and then since there's 2 holes, you color in 2 of them all the way, and then you split one of the blank ones into fifths and color 4 of the fifths, which you've seen I've already done. And then you come on and place it on the number. And you go right there.
Why'd you put it there? Hey, explain why. Explain it to Miss Corley.
That's half right there. And then this is almost all the way. It's only 1/5 away from being another hole, so that's why I'm placing it close to the end.
Okay, we're going to get ready to change centers in 2 minutes. So closing it out. How's the problem with the lesson today? You get through one of them?
Me and Linda are on the next one.
You're on the second one? Okay.
No, we're on that.
Oh, you're finished.
Go ahead.
Problem lesson finished? How about you all? You finished. Good. Green group, how are you? Finished? your center. Leave it nicer than you found it. Got it. Don't change yet. Yellow center's ready. Oh, green. Green center's ready. Yellow, red, change. Time to change. Yes, green goes to your text center. Where were you? All right, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go around real quick and see if you have advice for people from the center you just left. Yellow group, do you have any advice for the people at the yellow table? Nice and loud. No? Yes?
It is very easy.
Sort of.
It's
Okay.
easy.
People at blue, do you have advice for the people at red?
It was super easy. We did it really quick.
Okay. Why? It was super easy. Okay. How was the war? How was the new fraction war? Was it funner than the old fraction war? Or did you get to play war?
No, we made a word problem.
Oh, you got to the word problem. Okay, was that fun? Okay. All right. Green, people at green, do you have advice for the people at blue? Wait a minute, one at a time.
You need to get as much done as you can because you won't finish if you don't. And it's fun and easy, but it will take a long time. And it's really fun. Like you get to go and place it on another line. Yeah, and you get to work on it. You need extra markers.
Next goes. Okay.
A lot.
So they got some of the numbers placed, but you'll be continuing their number line, okay? Okay, Tech Center, what do you have to say, people at Tech, what do you have to say to the green group?
It was really easy, and they should watch out for the improper fractions.
Watch out for the impropers. They're very improper. And yellow people, what do you have to tell our Tech people? Nice and loud.
You should practice first and
Practice first before you do the iPad app, okay? All right, get moving. We've got about a good 20 minutes. See, they get more the hang of it the second time, the second center, so.
let's start. Half the deck.
Okay.
One
Are y'all a three-person group? Okay, so you're working together as one team? Okay, great.
I'll get an extra mark. We have an extra mark. Wait, yeah. You need a whole and a half. But you need 3 holes.
Speak up, Tony.
Let's do this. I'm going to go on the panic. One half. Correct. It's an unpoint. I need holes.
So we'll continue these centers through today. We'll probably get through a total of 2 centers today. Tomorrow we will pick up with centers as our first activity, and we'll finish them out and then do some some downloading discussion about our number line that we made. We'll download the problem of the lesson. We will talk about those as a big group, and people will share out their math notebooks. We will also just review through some of the concepts that we've talked about. If we have a few seconds, I'd just like to walk you through the math notebook that we made this year. Not exactly my lesson, but it's free time. So we start. We have four sections. The first section is more about writing and metacognition and how we think about our math. So we have a table of contents for this section. We started with how we work as a group, what are our learning needs when we work in a group, what do we do well, and what things do we have to improve on as we work with groups, what helps and hinders me in my learning. That was toward the beginning of the year. We talked about what kind of smart we are, what type of learner we are, kinesthetic or linguistic, interpersonal. So we had looked at what our strengths were as learners. We drew a picture of ourselves, math and me, how we look at mathematics, and then in our math blog we also followed up with how we think about ourselves as math learners. So we've used that blog to follow up on a lot of our classroom discussions and our metacognition. How I use math in my life. What is metacognition? We talk about this constantly. How do we think about our thinking? Because it's important that we be able to articulate with our vocabulary the concepts that we're learning. Then we drew ourselves with metacognition and me. Okay, which is kind of, we got some funny comments on what we're thinking. What is she? I can't see. Well, I play soccer. I will score goals by, I can't read without my glasses.
Dribbling, passing, and shooting. My goals have mostly been from being around goalies.
Okay, so metacognition. Okay, and then we went into some other discussion type things when we made our prime number chart. Okay, section 2 is more the big ideas of the chapters we're doing. Okay, and so we do some of our classwork in there as we go through our units. Section 3 is our problem-solving section where we do our model drawing and we do problems like the problem of the lesson we did today. Section 4 is our chapter vocabulary. So that sums up our notebook. Thanks for joining our class.